There came a point in my life when I knew I had to change it. So I took a chance and sold and gave away everything that I owned to experience a new life living out on the canals and rivers of the UK. So I'd like you to come along and experience it with me every step of the way. Morning YouTubers, we're just leaving the lovely village of Stoke Golding on the Ashby Canal and we're heading for a place called Sutton Cheney and hopefully some lovely places in between. What I try to do is set up these videos in such a way that you can imagine you're cruising along with me. And I try to explain all the things that I'm seeing and what I'm thinking as I'm going along. So I'll give you a little warning before we get too far. I've got quite a vivid imagination sometimes. Some might even say weird. So if I go a little bit off piste, don't say I didn't warn you. It's been a while since I've been able to dump any rubbish, and I've got 8 black bags piled up in the cratch, which is becoming a bit of a health hazard if I don't hurry up and get rid of them. But speaking to people on the towpath, I've heard there's a boat services at Sutton Cheney, so hopefully there's a place to dump the rubbish as well. I think that's Dadlington in the distance. This all looks rather nice. A little bit flat, but lovely. I've slowed down to tick over to go past these moored boats, and I've noticed there's a boat coming up behind me, who's obviously not slowed down as much as me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move off of the centre over to the right so that they can pass. I've just waved them through. I keep hearing that the Ashby is shallow, and I haven't experienced it until now. Where I've moved off the centre, I can feel Aitch scraping along the mud. But I'll pull over here and wait for that boat to pass, and then we'll try and get off of it. The boat's been past a while now, and I'm still over here, faffing about, trying to get off the mud. It looks like we're finally getting somewhere now. I've got the front of Aitch to come out, and we're slowly working our way off of the mud bank. It seems whenever I do a good turn for someone, it's always at my expense. But we're moving along nicely now, and I'm in no rush to get anywhere, so that's fine. At the time of filming this, we're in the middle of winter, and I can imagine that this end of the Ashby in the summer would be idyllic. It's still nice now. and there's plenty to keep me interested as we're going along. And I was thinking that this would be the ideal place to hire a boat for a week on your holidays. There's no locks, be perfect. But then again, some people like to do locks and things like that. The only problems they would get is the shallowness of this canal in the summer. I've just had to move off the centre again so we can pass, and I've got stuck on the mud. And I wouldn't consider Aitch to be one of the deepest drafted boats. So I'll give you a little tip from my experience. If your boat is quite deep drafted, don't consider the Ashby. Because at this time of the year, and the amount of rain that we've had, the water here is probably at its highest level, and I'm still getting stuck. And I think you might have to disregard what I said earlier about hire boaters and this being a lovely place. I'd imagine it would be hard for new boaters keep getting stuck on the mud. But the hire boats round here might be very shallow drafted. Right, seems like we've managed to back off of the mud. Off we go again. Looks like a nice bit of Leicestershire. I was talking to one of the locals, and they said where we are now is geographically in the centre of the country. They actually said it's one of the furthest places from the sea in all directions. And looking at this boat coming up, I would say that we're in the dead centre. All I can say about that boat is, a lot of us out here do think outside the box. Some of us a bit more than others. There's a long line of moored boats here as we're approaching Sutton Cheney, so I'm back down to tick over again. They look like they're private moorings. This is the boat that I passed earlier, or that passed me earlier when I pulled over. So they must have come up here and turned round again. They've probably come out for a little cruise and then going back to their mooring. The other side of this bridge is a place called Sutton Wharf. And just past that is the service point. So I'm going to have to keep my eyes open. And hopefully nobody's on the services. There's not many people sitting outside this place at this time of the year, but I can imagine when the weather's warmer, I bet it's packed here. People getting something to eat and drink and enjoying the surroundings. They've even got a ice cream boat there outside. I think it's shut now in this cold weather, but they must do a bit of business in the summer, I'd say. can see there's a space at the end of this row of boats, and I'm hoping that that's the service point. We'll soon see. Yeah, I can see a signpost just over there on the right, and it's just past that is the mooring for the services. So I'm going to fill up with water, empty out the toilet cassettes, and get rid of the rubbish. This is a view of the services from the towpath side. That skip there is where I got rid of the rubbish, and all the other services are behind the restaurant. They've even got showers there. So now I'm going to be looking to moor up as soon as possible. There's like an off towpath pontoon mooring over here on the right, but I don't think there's much space there. There's one little gap here, but I think it's a bit tight for H, so I'm going to go past these moorings and see what I can see a little bit further up. I'm definitely going to try and get moored up at these moorings, these off towpath moorings, on the way back, because there's a pathway on there that goes off to the old battlefield centre, and it'll be interesting to have a look at, even though it's in the wrong place. Over there to the right is a place called Ashby Wood. It's like a little forest. On the towpath side is still thick with vegetation, so there's nowhere to moor, and I've been going 5 minutes or so, so I'm creeping further and further away. Hello, this looks promising. There's a bit of Armco coming up, so if I can find a place that's wide enough after I've moored for other boats to get by comfortably, this looks like it might be my home for a few days. Yeah, I think this bit will do. I'm just going to reverse up though, because the bush in front is making it a little bit narrow if I moored up next to it. So I'm going to pull it back to this wider piece of canal. Right, I'd like to thank a few people for buying me coffees, and also I've got some new members on the Buy Me a Coffee app. People have asked where the app is. It's actually in the video description. Yeah, so thank you very much. Those are the people that have bought me coffees, and these are the members on the Buy Me a Coffee app. I've got two new members, Carol Ives and Catherine Royal. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next time.